Welcome to the channel. So for the meal this evening, I'm making the family some Copycat McDonald's chicken nuggets. So I first covered this recipe well over 2 years ago on the Malat YouTube cookery channel. It's developed a lot over those 2 years. It's definitely become a lot more simple. It was quite a complicated recipe to begin with. So I've really sort of dumbed down this recipe. Still the same fantastic flavour. The batter has been improved as well because I'm now using the citric acid and bicarbonate of soda based batter, which is an absolutely fantastic batter, and people who are subscribers to the channel and have tried it will know that. So it's in my opinion, it's a better recipe than over 2 years ago. It's definitely a lot more simple. The dominant flavour in a McDonald's chicken nugget is celery. That's still the case with this recipe. I think McDonald's use celery extract. Obviously we're going to use just natural celery stick. And again, in this particular version, it's a lot more simplified of how we get that flavour into those chicken nuggets than it was from the video I did over 2 years ago. So I'm going to show you the ingredients now and then we'll crack on with the recipe. So for the ingredients, I've got 100 grams of plain flour. This is for the batter to begin with. 100 grams of plain flour, 150 millilitres of ice cold water. Really important you get that water as cold as possible. So this has been in the freezer for 45 minutes. I've got a teaspoon of black pepper and a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to be using half a teaspoon of black pepper and half a teaspoon of salt for the batter, and then the rest of it is going to go into the chicken. I've got a teaspoon of MSG. That's going to go into the chicken mix. That is obviously completely optional if you don't want to use MSG. I've got half a medium-sized chicken breast fillet. Because we're using this batter mix, which has got a lot of volume to it, you don't need a lot of chicken at all. So half a chicken breast fillet will actually do 10 to 12 nuggets. I've got half a teaspoon of citric acid. So if you've not seen any of my videos before, then citric acid, you can buy that from anywhere that sells wine and beer making kits, or you can buy it online. I've got half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and then a stick of celery. So the first thing we need to do is get the flavour from the celery. So I've cut the celery into chunks, taking 50 millilitres of our ice cold water, pour that into a mini electric vegetable chopper. I'm just going to pulse this until we get almost like a puree. Okay. Next thing we need to do is take that pureed liquid. I'm going to pour it through a sieve and then try and get as much juice out as possible. Using a spatula, so just squeeze that juice out. So next thing is I've rinsed out the bowl from the electric vegetable chopper, cut up the chicken breast fillet, placed it in there. Want to add into that half of our pepper, half of the salt, and again this is optional, but all of the MSG. I'm just going to pulse this until I get almost like a fine puree again. So once we've got that puree, I'm just going to take it out of this bowl place it into another bowl, cover it with food wrap, and then just into the fridge to rest for about 10 or 15 minutes. So next thing we want to do is to make up the batter, excluding the citric acid and bicarbonate of soda. We don't want to put that in yet. So in goes the salt and the rest of the pepper. And just mix that together. Then our celery juice, which is roughly about 50 mils of liquid. And then the rest of our ice cold water, so that 100 ml, just pour that in a little bit at a time until we get a smooth paste. And it'll be a little bit of a thicker batter than you're probably used to, but when we add the citric acid and bicarbonate of soda, that will lighten everything up with the production of the carbon dioxide bubbles, which is the reason for adding those two ingredients, because citric acid and bicarbonate of soda combined together with the presence of water produces a lot of carbon dioxide. I think that's the only experiment I remembered from school science class. Okay, so that's the kind of thickness or consistency you're looking for in the batter. Next thing to do is I've taken the chicken from the fridge now, so it's been resting in the fridge for about 15 minutes to get nice and cold. That's come out of the fridge. I'm going to put this to one side and get the deep fat fryer up to temperature, which is 180 degrees centigrade. So we'll do that now. So as the deep fat fryer comes up to temperature, I'm going to add in our half a teaspoon of citric acid into the batter, half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, mix that in thoroughly, and then we're going to leave this batter to stand for about a minute, no more than a minute. That will give it the batter enough time to create a lot of carbon dioxide. And I've probably shown it on videos before, but if you just look, you can actually see the carbon dioxide bubbles coming to the top. So once everything's ready, we need to now obviously form the chicken nuggets and coat them. So I've got a little bit of extra flour. So this is over and above what we've used in the batter. This is just to coat my hands so that the chicken mixture doesn't stick. This is the chicken mixture. You literally want just a teaspoon, no more than that. There's a lot of volume in the batter, so you don't want the nuggets to be too big. So just get some flour on your hands. Initially roll up that chicken mixture into a ball and then just flatten it down fairly thin, so maybe about 3 to 4 mil thick, to form a chicken nugget. Dip it into our mixture and then into that hot fat. So the chicken nuggets will take about 3 minutes on one side and then flip them over 3 minutes on the second side, and then they'll be done. So I'm just coming to the end of these now frying, but what I want to show you is before, when I fried the first one, that was really just for the camera. What I would normally do, and what I've done here when I switch the camera off, is I've made up the nugget shapes from the chicken, put them on a plate first and then dip them in, and you can do them in batches then. I didn't want to give the impression that you just literally do it one at a time, because once your hands are covered in batter, you have to then go wash them and obviously form the next piece of chicken. So form all of the pieces of chicken first and then dip them in the batter and fry them in batches. And hopefully you're not going to be as messy as I am. So there you go, actually got 14 and a half. I had a little bit of chicken left over, so nearly 15 nuggets out of that batch. I'm going to keep these warm in the oven now while I do the fries, and then that's the evening meal done. So there you go, a Copycat McDonald's chicken nuggets. If you've seen the previous video, which I did quite early on in the channel, you'll see that this is a lot more simple to do and obviously a lot quicker as well, a lot more convenient. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit that like button. Thank you very much for watching.